Welcome back. This is Mr. Hassan's Maths channel. I'm now going to answer question number 10 from the specimen paper from 2025 from the Cambridge 0580 syllabus, paper 2, non-calculator. And here we have a question which is quite familiar from even the previous papers. And in the previous papers, it would have said here, calculators are not allowed, in this question, or do not use your calculator for this question. All steps must be shown, otherwise marks won't be given, something like that. Because in those papers you were allowed to take the calculator with you, but you had to show your steps to answer certain questions like this to show that you did not use your calculator, or that you know how to add these with the calculator. But what you could have done in those questions is you could have checked your answer with your calculator if you wanted to make sure you've done it correctly. In this case with the non-calculator paper, we can't do that checking part with the calculator to make sure that we did it properly. In the previous videos of the older papers, I would have advised at the end, use your calculator, put the calculation in and check to see that you've done it correctly at the end in case you made a silly mistake. That can't be done anymore. Alright, so we have to know how to add fractions together as we did before without a calculator. And it's what I would advise, although some people might do it differently, I would advise changing the numbers into improper fractions first if they're mixed numbers, okay, and then adding together. You can do it other ways as well, but this is, I find this is best, especially when we have subtractions in there as well. It just makes life less confusing. So what I would suggest we do is change these both into improper fractions, and the way we can do that is by multiplying the whole number by the denominator. So 3 times 2 is 6, 6 plus 2 is 8, so that's 8 over 3, plus, and 3.5, you multiply these two together, that's 6 plus 1, that's 7 over 2. So we have to add these two fractions together. Now, there's a few little points, that some people have maybe some issues with. They don't understand how this becomes that. Now, if you were to think about drawing out, supposing here we have, this whole thing which we split into 3 parts. So this is like 3/3. This is like 1 whole or 3/3. And then you have another whole which we split into 3 equal parts. So that's like 3 whole things, which is, again, that's 3 parts of this whole thing, which is, this is like 3/3 make up 1 whole. And then we have another part here which is basically, so imagine they're equal. I didn't draw them very well, but imagine they're equal. Supposing we've got 2 of those out of 3. So we have, that's 1 whole and that's another whole, but everything's split into like 3 parts. And this is like not a whole, this is part of the whole thing. So here we have 2 wholes, and we've got, this is 2/3. This is 2/3. 2 parts out of 3. So this gives you 2 and 2/3. Okay, and as you can see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the same as 8/3. 2 and 2 wholes and 1 and a 2/3 together is the same as 8/3. So that's one way you could kind of visualize how this becomes that if you want. Okay, plus 7 over 2. And now when we want to add together 2 fractions, we have to make sure that we are adding things of the same size. So we have to write these in the same denominator. So for example, if you have something you're adding together and this is split into 3 equal parts, and here you've got, this is split into like a half, okay, you can't really add these together because they're not the same size. You have to make them the same size. So you would say, okay, let's split this into 6 parts, and let's split this also into 6 parts. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you can add them together. Okay, then you can add them together because they're the same size. So when we make the denominators the same, we are actually dealing with doing something like that. So here we're going to make this out of 6, and we're going to make this out of 6. 3, to make it 6, you have to multiply by 2. So you're going to make 8/3 into an equivalent fraction, just like we made, for example, if we made 1/3 into equivalent fraction, 1/3 would be the same as 2 over 6. Okay, and so on. So here we'll have 8/3 plus 8/3 becomes, if you multiply this by 2 to give you 6, you multiply that by 2 to give you 16. So 8/3 is the same as 16 over 6, and 7 over 2 you have to multiply by 3 to give this make this 6. So you multiply this also by 3. So you have 21 over 26. So you have 16 plus 21 over 6. So here now we have 16 6 plus 21 6. So how many 6 do we have altogether? Well, 16 plus 21, that gives you 37. Okay, now 37 over 6. Now the question says give your answer as a mixed number in its simplest form. Alright, so if the question doesn't say give it as a mixed number, you could leave your answer like this, because this is in the simplest form in terms there's no common factors in the numerator and the denominator. However, because they say as a mixed number, you got to give it in this form like this. So you say, okay, how many 6's fit into 36? How many whole 6 can we make? How many 6 can we make altogether? Well, there's 6 6's in 37. Okay, so you have 6 whole, and then there will be 1 bit left over, 1 6 left over. So it will be 6 6 and 1/6. Okay, so there's your answer to number 10. Alright, just a bit of visualization there, maybe to help you understand some of these concepts. Previously, people would just put this in the calculator and get the answer, or check the answer with a calculator. But here we can't do the checking at the end now because there's no calculator allowed in the example. Alright, so there's your answer to question number 10 from this specimen paper. Other questions from this paper can be found in the playlist that will appear over here. Other questions from the paper 2 or from the specimen paper, from the 2025 syllabus, questions dealing with fractions, arithmetic with fractions, you will find in the playlist over here. And you can find the playlist dealing with basic arithmetic from the older syllabus over here in this playlist. You can subscribe to my channel by clicking on this link. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.